Last time that I checked, it was 5 chains on my neck. It was no smut on my rap.
My name is Maroon. I'm from WAEVZ AU. We're a media platform looking to put, Australian hip hop, R&B, and soul music on the map. And I'm joined today by Matt and Hsu L-FRESH. They have teamed up on a collaboration for a remix, sort of a tribute to Nipsey Hussle's Last Time That I Checked. So yeah, can you guys please introduce yourselves?
My name is Matt Hsu. I have a project called Matt Hsu's Obscure Orchestra. Yeah.
What up? My name's Hsu L-FRESH The Lion. I'm a hip hop artist and producer from Southwest Sydney.
So you guys teamed up on a tribute remix track of Nipsey Hussle's Last Time That I Checked, which was absolutely amazing. Had an amazing line of hip hop artists from Australia. How did this idea come together?
Oh, I guess I should answer that. So in my music making, I've always been really influenced by like a couple of like titan musicians that I really respect, and Nipsey Hussle is among one of them. Not just for the music, which is impeccable, but like the community, his community mindedness, and the way he sort of always talks about sending the elevator back down to sort of bring up the people and the community around him. I really, really respect that kind of philosophy and ethos, and try to do that in my own music.
Hsu L-FRESH, you had Nardine, Mac Ridge, Black Carrie, Sacham, and Soul Child. It's awesome. Yeah. It's a great lineup. How did they all come together?
Well, I wanted to choose people that sort of, in my mind, represented like some piece of Nipsey's, I guess, ethos, and that kind of, I want to keep it local. I want to keep it Australian, but I wanted to connect up with different states. I'm from Brisbane, and I wanted artists who I felt were leaders in their field, were leaders of their community. And to me, like Hsu L-FRESH, like he represents Sikh people, he represents Western Sydney, he represents like people of color across the board, wanting to break away from, society's expectations and stereotypes of what a person of color can do, can be, can look like.
Absolutely. Now, that's a great thing. And, I saw that as well, Hsu L-FRESH, obviously from Southwest, and, Nardine, who represents Western Sydney so much as well. And, really embraces that in her music. So yeah, originally when I first heard that remix, I thought, I originally got goosebumps because, Nipsey was such a community man. He repped Slauson Avenue like crazy, and really looked after his people. And he's one of the only sort of artists that really showed a lot of growth in his music, especially, one of the only people that I used to listen to that used to, talk about investments in interviews and talk about helping everybody grow. And, you see that side of somebody, it's different to people that, flex their chains or flex their money. And I thought that was awesome that you brought that together. Hsu L-FRESH, I do see a lot of parallels between Nipsey's story and yours, from standing up for your city and your people. And, Southwest was an awesome album that you dropped last year. What do you wish the listener to get out of this tribute right here?
I think, just that level of appreciation that we have for somebody like Nipsey. We live in a time where you can create something in your little pocket of the world, but it has a reach and an influence beyond that. And Nipsey definitely did that. We've just all been speaking about him so glowingly, and his life and his journey has been a testament to, his motivation, his drive, and his dedication to his truth, and his own journey. And that's inspired so many of us, myself included, who are on very different but similar journeys. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
I hope when people hear this track and see the video, they just see like how much of an impact an individual and their creation can have on others on the other side of the world, and that people acknowledge and respect the inspiration that was and that is the life of Nipsey Hussle.
If you can just give us a brief overview of Matt Hsu's Obscure Orchestra as a musical movement and also as an advocacy for, you know, groups like refugees, immigrants, First Nations people, and how you're doing this through artistic collaboration.
Sure. So when I was a kid, I kind of used music a lot as a way of fitting in. So like Asian kid living in mostly white Australia, it was kind of a way of me like covering my Asianness by being like, oh no, I'm not like the other Asian kids who, you know, I don't know, do whatever they're doing, but I'm listening to indie music, I'm listening to metal and all this stuff, and that makes me fit in with the white kids around me. So as a way of deflecting that racism of like, go back to where you came from. It's like, no, I'm from here because I speak like you and I listen to the stuff like you. And over time, that my relationship with music changed, and it wasn't so much about using it to sort of fit in, but as a way of like learning about the rest of the world, like listening to world music from around the world, appreciating like Cuban music, Asian pop music, you know, like, yeah, traditional, even I like Irish folk songs and that sort of stuff. And that sort of love of all kinds of music kind of reflected back into myself, I guess made me want to use music as a way of reconnecting with my own, not just my own culture, but understanding like I live in a broader context where,
Absolutely.
yes, yeah, there are a lot of people in this world and a lot of stuff, a lot of gray areas between cultures and a lot of things that connect us and a lot of differences to celebrate. And I guess that's the core approach to the Obscure Orchestra. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really like that, man. And as I said, it's something that I haven't come across before. And, you know, when I was able to watch the video and listen to the song, I thought, you know, I really hope you guys can continue to do things like this. The one thing that really threw me off, and I do believe that it will throw a lot of people off, is, you know, hip hop naturally isn't something that, you know, you match with orchestra. So tell me about how that sort of came together in terms of, you know, in a music way. How did we able to incorporate the orchestra things within the hip hop?
Well, the thing is, I played trumpet in school, and like orchestral instruments and even non-orchestral stuff, like finding, you know, tree branches and cracking them and recording those sounds, and like bicycle spokes and going ding, 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 ding with the wheels. Like I've just been fascinated with sound my whole life. And I find that acoustic sound in nature, there's so much you can do with it, even before touching like a sample tape or like a laptop or something. So I'm just really interested in going out there and discovering new acoustic sounds and how you can sort of like utilize them in different contexts. Like people, I don't know, music is infinite, and the world, like the natural world, is kind of infinite as well. So I just kind of like am still out there looking for different sounds.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. There's been a bunch of like artists that have, you know, brought acoustic instruments to it. Like you'll see hip hop artists with orchestras when they play live every now and then, like in the past couple of decades, and that's always epic. I just am really interested in that intersection between, you know, street culture and sort of what is ostensibly like, oh, orchestral highbrow stuff. That stuff shouldn't matter. Just like take it away from like the middle age, you know, white folk.
Absolutely.
And bring those acoustic instruments to the streets.
No, that's awesome. I love the video idea where it was side by side, and you know, you had the hip hop artists spitting their bars, but you also had these musicians, you know, peacefully playing their instruments. And I think I really like that sort of contrast as well. Nipsey's death was absolutely heartbreaking to everybody. And, you know, it was a result of violence, of course. You know, he was killed. And in late years, we've seen a lot of, you know, artists in the US like King Vaughn or Pop Smoke, unfortunately die to violence. You know, the Australian hip hop scene is currently growing a lot at the moment. And, you know, there's a plethora of amazing talent coming out of Sydney, you know, Brisbane, Melbourne, all different states. But unfortunately, some of them do come with, you know, the notion of area codes and postcodes and, you know, violence. And we have seen a few different incidents in the last year specifically with that. What do you think we can do as a music scene to sort of stop us from going through that same route that the US has gone down, or the UK has gone down specifically?
Man, we definitely learn from what we see happening overseas. I think, you know, we're quite a different context to the US and the UK. So, you know, our own kind of individual struggles and issues with certain experiences are gonna be different. I don't necessarily feel like the extremities of what happens there is necessarily going to reflect, just because it's happened there doesn't mean it's going to happen over here. But, you know, one thing that I will say is that, you know, music is a reflection of context, and what we see coming out from across the country, whether it's Western Sydney, Brisbane, wherever it may be. You know, artists are storytellers of their time, especially in hip hop. And the thing about hip hop is it's raw, it's unfiltered, it's uncut. You're going to see it how it is. You may see an exaggeration every now and then as well, but it's at the end, it's ultimately a truth that's being reflected to you as it is.
Absolutely. No, that's a great answer. Matt, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think like violence and crime is only one part of the picture with hip hop culture. It's like since the 70s from the South Bronx, it's always been about community celebration, bringing people together, and it's always had a role in advocacy, especially in conscious hip hop. And like you see rappers that you know, have a really important role in talking about how to bring community together, in the same way that Nipsey was about anti-gun violence and trying actively to work with community leaders to stop that kind of thing. Yeah.
Look, man, at the end of the day, I think you really, really killed this project, and I can't wait for everybody to hear it in, you know, 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I honestly hope you keep doing things like this and keep teaming up with different artists and, you know, bringing those sorts of, you know, remixes or even just brand new, you know, tunes as well. You know, it would be awesome to see.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Appreciate
and I will
your
be
time,
bringing
Matt.
all of that.